Could one of the most loved entertainers of all time be facing the end of his amazing career? After decades of winning over fans with his voice and charm, Donny Osmond now faces challenges that have forced him to make a life-changing decision. After his diagnosis, Donny Osmond announces farewell, leaving fans around the world wondering about the journey that brought him here and the battles he fought along the way. For decades, Donny Osmond has been one of the most well-known names in show business. His career began when he was just a little boy, and from that moment on, people all over the world watched him grow into a star. As part of the talented Osmond family, he quickly became a favorite among audiences. His voice, charm, and stage presence turned him into more than just a young singer. He became a performer who could win over crowds of all ages, and his songs climbed the charts again and again. But Donny's story is not only about fame and success. Away from the bright lights, he has gone through health problems and personal struggles that could have slowed him down. So, after his multiple diagnoses, Donny Osmond is about to announce his farewell. Let's explore what health problems he faced. The balance between your professional life and your family life. How difficult has that been? It's a conscious effort every day. Welcome, please. Donny Osmond. Worry and panic attacks. During the 1990s, Donny Osmond took on the lead role in the musical Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. While the show became a major part of his career, it also turned into one of the toughest chapters of his personal life. At that time, Donny was trying to move away from his image as a teenage star and prove himself as a serious performer. This change came with enormous pressure, and soon his health began to show the strain. One night while performing, Donny experienced his very first panic attack. He later explained that it felt as though he was stuck inside a bubble that he could not break out of. The fear came suddenly with no clear reason and left him feeling trapped and helpless. Unfortunately, this was only the beginning, and similar attacks followed him throughout the show's long run. Much of the worry came from the weight of expectations. Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat was very different from the music that had made him famous, and success was critical if he wanted to rebuild his career. Add to this the normal stress of live performances, and the result was an overwhelming mental battle. Donny spoke openly about how scary this time was. Before stepping on stage, the fear could feel so intense that performing seemed harder than facing death itself. There were days when he felt as if he was losing his grip on reality, and the physical symptoms were so strong that getting out of bed became a challenge. At that time, conversations about mental health were rare, and entertainers were often expected to hide their struggles. For Donny, admitting to worry only added to the challenge. Still, with encouragement from his family, especially his wife Debbie, he chose to seek help. Therapy and coping strategies gave him tools to manage the attacks. And little by little, his confidence returned. As the years passed, Donny decided not to keep these struggles private. Instead, he began speaking openly about his experiences with worry. By doing so, he not only freed himself from the shame, but also encouraged others facing the same difficulties to seek support. Back and neck surgery challenges. In the year 2019, Donny Osmond reached a turning point in his health. After spending decades on stage singing, dancing, and putting his energy into every performance, his body began to show the results of that demanding lifestyle. Years of rehearsals, constant travel, and active movement placed pressure on his spine. Eventually, the pain became too difficult to ignore. What started as discomfort grew into a serious problem that affected his ability to move freely and perform at his best. Specialists carefully examined his condition and confirmed that the damage to his back and neck would not improve on its own. They explained that surgery was the only way to reduce the pain and prevent the issue from getting worse. For Donny, agreeing to surgery was not an easy choice. The risks of spinal procedures are always serious. And for an entertainer whose career depends on physical strength and flexibility, the uncertainty was frightening. Still, the growing pain left him with little choice but to move forward with the operation. In January of that year, Donny went into surgery on both his back and his neck. The procedure itself was considered successful, and doctors were hopeful about his long-term recovery. However, once the operation was over, Donny quickly realized that the real challenge was just beginning. The healing process was far more complicated than expected, and instead of quick relief, he was met with new struggles. Soon after surgery, he began to feel numbness and a loss of movement, especially in his arms. Simple tasks became difficult, and there were moments when he questioned whether he would ever be able to sing, dance, or perform on stage again. For someone whose entire life had revolved around entertaining audiences, this uncertainty created a heavy emotional burden. The thought of losing the ability to move freely was just as painful as the physical recovery itself. Despite the setbacks, Donny refused to let the situation define his future. With the help of skilled doctors, physical therapists, and constant support from his family, he committed to a long rehabilitation program. His daily routine included targeted exercises, therapy sessions, and gradual strength training to restore movement and rebuild confidence. Progress was slow at first, but his persistence began to pay off. Each small improvement gave him more hope that he could eventually return to the stage. What made this period stand out was Donny's openness with the public. Rather than keeping his struggles private, he chose to share updates with his fans. He spoke about the pain, the frustration, and the determination it took to keep moving forward. These honest moments showed a side of him that many had never seen before. Struggles with his voice. Not only that, in the late 1990s, Donny Osmond faced a problem that threatened the very core of his career. For someone who had been singing since childhood, his voice was more than just a skill. It was the gift that carried him to worldwide fame. And suddenly, that gift was slipping away. Singing, which had always been second nature, started to feel difficult. His voice no longer carried the same clarity, and the high notes he once reached with ease became harder to control. Worried about these changes, Donny turned to medical specialists. After a series of examinations, doctors discovered that one of his vocal cords had become paralyzed. This type of condition can develop for various reasons, including nerve damage, making it extremely challenging to produce sound. For an everyday person, it might mean a softer or weaker voice. But for a professional singer, it can threaten an entire career. The diagnosis came at a time when Donny was stepping into an important phase of his career. He had been working to reinvent himself and was starring in the musical Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. The role demanded constant singing and powerful performances. With one vocal cord not working as it should, the pressure became overwhelming. Every show required extra effort, and the uncertainty of whether his voice would hold up added even more stress. To fight the condition, Donny began an intense program of voice therapy. This was not a quick or simple fix. It required him to relearn many basic singing techniques and to train his voice in ways he had never done before. Therapy included specific exercises designed to strengthen the vocal cords along with new methods of controlling his breathing and sound. For someone who had spent a lifetime singing effortlessly, starting over was both humbling and frustrating. Despite the difficulty, Donny did not give up. He leaned on the guidance of his doctors, the encouragement of his family, and his own determination to get through the process. Progress came slowly, but with patience and dedication, he began to see improvement. Over time, his voice regained strength and he returned to the stage with renewed confidence. What stood out during this chapter of his life was Donny's honesty. He chose to share his struggles openly, speaking about the fear, the therapy, and the work it took to recover. By doing so, he showed fans that even experienced performers face setbacks and that determination can help overcome them. His willingness to be vulnerable made his recovery even more inspiring. Although vocal cord paralysis posed a serious risk to his career, Donny's persistence and love for music carried him through. Instead of letting the condition silence him, he worked hard to heal. He continued to perform for audiences around the world, shining on the Las Vegas stage. Even after facing many health challenges, Donny Osmond has continued to perform with energy and dedication. Las Vegas has been a central part of his career for years, offering a stage where he could connect with audiences from all over the world. One of his most famous runs was with his sister Marie. Together, they created the show Donny and Marie, which became a long-running favorite at the Flamingo Hotel. For more than 10 years, fans came to see them perform, enjoying the lively songs, dancing, and the natural chemistry that only siblings can share. When the show with Marie ended, Donny did not pause his work. He returned to Las Vegas with a solo residency, giving him the chance to perform his music in his own way. His solo shows combine beloved songs, stories from his life, and entertaining performances that have been part of his career for decades. Each concert allows the audience to understand the journey he has taken from a young boy in a singing family to a performer who has inspired generations. His solo performances are held at Harrah's Las Vegas, a prominent venue on the famous Strip. The space creates an exciting yet personal experience, letting fans feel connected to him while enjoying the show. With a full band, talented dancers, and engaging visual displays, Donny's concerts showcase his creativity and energy. Every aspect of the show reflects his commitment to giving audiences a complete entertainment experience. Audiences have responded enthusiastically to Donny's solo work. Fans appreciate hearing his classic hits while also learning about the stories behind the music. They enjoy the personal touch he brings to the stage, making every show feel special and unique. These solo performances carry forward his legacy, showing that he can still thrill crowds with his talent and charm. Growing up in the spotlight. After learning from some of the most talented performers at a young age, Donny Osmond began to apply those lessons in his own life. Being surrounded by skilled entertainers gave him a rare opportunity to understand the world of show business up close. These early experiences shaped his work ethic, taught him important performance skills, and helped him build the foundation for a lifelong career. Few children get this kind of start, and it set Donny on a path that would prepare him for both the challenges and the joys of fame. As his talent continued to grow, Donny's rise became even more visible when he started performing with his sister Marie on their own television show. Even as kids, Donny and Marie shared a special bond that went beyond being siblings. While their older brothers were busy traveling and performing with the Osmond Brothers group, Donny and Marie spent much of their time at home together. They played in the backyard, shared stories, and simply enjoyed each other's company. These moments created a strong friendship that would later translate into their on-screen chemistry. Donny has said that he and Marie were best friends from the start, showing just how close they were. As they grew older, this natural connection made them ideal for television. Producers recognized the warmth between the siblings and offered them their own variety show. Donny and Marie aired from 1976 to 1979 and quickly became a hit. Viewers loved seeing them sing, dance, and entertain together. Their interactions felt real, unscripted, and full of joy, which made the show charming, relatable, and enjoyable for families everywhere. Rise to teen idol fame. Building on the success of Donny and Marie, Donny Osmond became one of the youngest stars to co-host a television show. This accomplishment made him stand out even more in the entertainment world and gave him a special connection with fans of all ages. Families across America came to know him not just as a talented singer, but as someone they could relate to and root for.